Nike just unveiled a new ad in which Caitlin Clark is seen wearing her recently released Kobe sneaker. Additionally, I came across this advertisement on social media yesterday. It struck me as really awesome. When she opens her eye in a certain shot in the locker room, it appears to be a snake eye, but upon closer inspection, it's actually the Kobe logo. Asia Wilson is furious when Nike pulled the ultimate corporate plot twist following years of investing millions in Wilson's brand and witnessing Caitlin Clark burn the internet to the ground each time she comes in close proximity to a basketball. Nike smelled the reality check and finally woke up. Is this the first Caitlin Clark only Nike ad since she joined the WNBA? Nike finally releases Caitlin Clark PE. I am aware that she made an appearance here, there. She made an appearance. As part of this rollout, she was highlighted here. As part of this rollout, it was featured. However, since Caitlin Clark joined the WNBA, is this her first official solo ad? All along, they have been placing bets on the incorrect horse. And Asia is having a complete breakdown now that they are focusing on the woman who actually moves merchandise. It's not only about shoes, people. In 2025, Nike will finally acknowledge that they have been favoring someone whose sneakers gather dust while Clark's items cause their website to break down more quickly than a dial-up connection. In just a few weeks, Caitlin Clark and Nike will formally release her Indiana Fever player-only Kobe 5s. When Caitlin was initially spotted wearing this sneaker, it was assumed to be a colorway produced just for her until a few days ago, when Nike's official shoe photos were released and it was announced that everyone would now be able to wear them. Even when your ego wants it to, math is truthful, so let's talk about numbers. Indeed, back in May, Asia Wilson's Nike A1 sneakers sold out in 5 minutes. It seems amazing until you learn that they only produced a small amount, essentially generating fictitious scarcity. In the meantime, 13,000 pairs disappear in a matter of minutes as Caitlin Clark announces a collaboration with KOB. Minutes, not 5. It wouldn't be incorrect of me to suggest that Caitlin Clark's KOB is the sneaker of the week, and this one is primarily the focus of attention. There are only supposed to be 13,000 pairs of sneakers available tomorrow, so if you truly wanted the shoe, I hope you worked hard. In addition to having a very high resale value, I anticipate that this shoe will be a challenging comp. However, I sincerely hope that the release of Caitlin Clark's sneaker sets a precedent and that future player edition Kobe's will be made available to the general public. Not only did the Nike websites slow down, it essentially gave itself up to the troops of Caitlin Clark. Prices for resale soared to $350, 0 cents, 0 cents, $600, and 0 cents on the secondary market vary away. Clark's goods doesn't simply sell out when it first hits the market. Because of the feeding frenzy it causes, Black Friday appears to be a casual yard sale. There is some fire in these things. Where there is smoke, there is fire, I assure you. And these things are striking with such force. Who also got a bot? Who is the shoe plug? Because I require 2 pairs. These items are hidden right here. So I need one for my feet and one for the sneaker wall. Furthermore, I do not wish to spend $600, 0 cents on Go. This is where things get hot, though. Nike gave Asia the royal treatment as they developed their signature collection over the course of 2 solid years, personal design input, unique logos, etc. They allowed her to include quotations from her grandma, Celtic symbols for her parents, and enough personal touches to turn it into a scrapbook with laces for the whole family. I no longer had any regard for Agent Wilson. I don't want to know what she thinks. From now on, I don't give a damn about what she says. When a Nike contract is maintained for 2 years, while you're writing all that insane stuff about Caitlin Clark in Time magazine, you've been hiding for 2 years, go through it, you had a Nike deal the entire time, even though you read what she stated in Time magazine, I suspect. While wearing Kobe hand-me-downs that sell Wilson's handmade creations by margins that would make a mathematician cry, Caitlin Clark is still waiting for her genuine signature shoe. Wilson received all she requested and more from Nike. However, Wilson's well-constructed brand manages to generate less talk than Clark's leftovers. Assertions, finally it's here. Nike's Caitlin Clark sneakers are officially available. I think the sneakers are a year late since she was signed to them last year. Nevertheless, I'm thrilled that these footwear will soon be available. However, the fact that this is a joint venture with Kobe irritates me a little. Now, honor the legend that is Kobe. Peace be with you. Outstanding basketball player. However, I believe that Caitlin Clark is a well-known celebrity who is forging her own legacy. Thus, it seems to me that at least for her first sneaker, I don't think it should be a joint venture with any other player, living or deceased. I believe Caitlin ought to have had a unique design created just for her first sneaker. No cooperation. Subscribe if you're enjoying it. Let's also talk about the obvious problem. A'ja Wilson's self-centeredness. This woman has been vying for attention as if she were a candidate for basketball president. She received her signature sneaker and conversation-starting personalized logo. No one is aware of the translation, what it signifies. She continues to act as though the world owes her something because of her Nike ads, which were directed by Malia Obama. Clark, meanwhile, simply shows up, plays hoops, and unintentionally establishes himself as Nike's most marketable player since Michael Jordan. While Clark is getting respect by filling arenas and crashing websites without even trying, Wilson is out here demanding it. All of this was carried out during the development of the shoes and the collection's creation in an effort to disparage Caitlin Clark and paint her as a privileged white girl who deserves all of her privileges despite having earned them. This has nothing to do with color. This has to do with good and bad. And to be honest, I think this small evil exists. This is evil, in my opinion. Hey, everybody relax. Don't get on Caitlin Clark. She got a shoe deal. That's cool. I got one too. Mine's taken a little bit, but it's gonna come out. Just be patient. This is really awful because you had the capacity to speak up and say that. She had the option to publicly state that, but she chose not to. The most amusing aspect is that Nike genuinely attempted to make this work. They extended Wilson's contract by more than $20 million, 0 cents, developed whole advertising campaigns centered around her diamond in the rough persona, and promoted her narrative more aggressively than a commission-driven used car salesperson. However, what Caitlin Clark possesses naturally cannot be produced. Without even having to work for it, Clark became Nike's most valuable asset when he signed her on an 8-year, $28 million, 0 cents deal. It's free each time she takes the court while sporting Nike apparel, millions of dollars in advertising. Wilson needs storylines, production crews, and meticulously constructed tales. All Clark has to do is be. Caitlin Clark was not a blunder by Nike. Building a custom shoe line requires years and years of research, development, design, trial and error, and construction. For the past 3 or 4 years, Caitlin Clark has played virtually exclusively in Kobe 5s and Kobe 6s. If they are creating a sneaker for Caitlin Clark that she will wear, sell, and distribute to her teammates, admirers, and anybody else, it must be on par with the Kobe 5 or 6, if not superior. She also doesn't wear the new Kobe versions that are available. She agreed to a 10-year, $28 million, 0 cents deal with Nike. The second year, we're on the second year of that. The sneakers will arrive soon. They must create them. This takes a number of years to occur. We're not merely adapting Cage's color scheme, as Paige Becker did. Since this is where Wilson's illusions collide with reality, let's discuss the impact on the market. Actuality. Caitlin Clark's economic impact in Iowa alone was projected to be $82,500,000, 0 cents pennies. It's not a typo. One gamer in one state brought up $82,500,000, 0 cents. 0 cents. Her impact goes beyond basketball and into the realm of sheer cultural phenomena. While they were frantically attempting to get A'ja Wilson to appear as a basketball fetch from Mean Girls, Nike officials were likely blaming themselves for not noticing that they had the female Michael Jordan sitting right there. Nike was too preoccupied with their social justice scorecard to notice the warning signs that were there from the beginning. Jordan Rodgers, the former director of basketball marketing at Nike, publicly criticized his former employer for squandering the Caitlin Clark opportunity. They had to be shamed by a former insider to see what everyone else saw. They were forcing a different story on the public while disregarding the fact that Clark was the golden goose while they were busy attempting to make Wilson the face of women's basketball rather than embracing the real face of women's basketball. Nike stock fell to its lowest level in 5 years. Since 2021, your stock price has dropped by over 60%. The stock options of your executives and others making these decisions are worthless. You've managed to convince yourself that you need to slow play this, even though you have the biggest needle mover in American sports since Michael Jordan. I'll show you the search traffic for 4 female basketball players on Google Trends. Angel Reese is the only one who can compete with Caitlin Clark, and you don't have her. Over at Reebok, you have been doing fantastic work to try to improve the WNBA and many of its athletes. So I'm not sure how you could have been so invested in the league for so long. However, it appears that you have. You persuaded yourself that this talk must be either or, and in men's sports, we never have an either or discussion. About 10 of your athletes are signatures. Not all of them are worthy of a signature sneaker, and all of a sudden Nike is awakening. As soon as Clark's Kobe shoes fall, the internet literally collapses, does not encounter significant traffic pauses. Wilson is watching as Clark's informal sneaker release on Tuesday afternoon overshadows her well-planned role. The differences. It's almost humiliating how stark it is. To move her merchandise, Wilson needs months of marketing campaigns, promotional tours, and build-up. People are lining up outside sneaker stores like it's a Supreme drop just because Clark needs a social media post. This is what has truly twisted A'ja, though. At last, Nike's admitting what everyone else already knew. It's not simply shoes that Clark sells. Dreams are what she sells. The message is very clear. The market has communicated with its wallets. The future belongs to Caitlin Clark. And in an attempt to remain relevant in the game of tomorrow, A'ja Wilson is yesterday's news. Affection, in my opinion, this commercial was excellent overall. Additionally, many people have been criticizing Nike because they believe that Caitlin has not received enough publicity. We must, however, give credit where credit is due, I will say. They seem to have been tweeting about Caitlin more for the past month or so. Naturally, they created this incredibly bizarre ad to promote the sneaker release, and naturally, only today, within a minute, Caitlin Clark's brand new Kobe PE sneaker was completely sold out. Additionally, I observed a lot of tweets regarding this. Many folks were devastated that they were unable to get this sneaker. I noticed that there was a Dick's store and that people were camping out in line around the corner in an attempt to get the sneaker. Nike ignored the natural event occurring right in front of them for years as they attempted to generate fictitious demand for Wilson. They provided Wilson with every possible advantage. Olympic gold medals, MVP honors, championship rings, and still failed to produce the type of genuine Clark's relationship with his fans. On paper, Wilson's accomplishments are remarkable, but Clark's influence goes beyond numbers. She is a cultural icon who plays basketball in addition to being a skilled player. There is a distinction which Nike has at last recognized. They are unable to accept the fact that genuine charm consistently outperforms contrived stories. Being the face of women's basketball was never something Clark requested. She simply became successful because she is unquestionably very good at what she does. Wilson has been advocating for the job as though it were an elected one that she should inherit in the interim. I think this is really disgusting. I think it's absolutely disgusting that you let Caitlin Clark get fucked for the entire time and even voice her opinion. I don't get the tactics here, and Nike's a bunch of jerks because they didn't stand up for Caitlin Clark or say, hey, we got Agent Shoe coming. We got Agent Shoe coming. Just got to be patient. Caitlin Clark's going to get hers too. All you're doing is stirring up controversy. Hadn't have to be present where division wasn't necessary. You're calling it. You're bringing up racial issues that didn't need to be there. Nike is making this change for survival, not just great business. Clark was out here raising the entire WNBA by himself while they were busy trying to get Wilson to happen. While other players barely managed to reach 300,000 views, her games typically garner over 1 million. Everywhere she goes, road venues are packed. Her jersey is worn by young girls as if it were a superhero costume.